Hello and welcome back to the Drive Back YouTube channel. My name is Garrett.
And I'm Adrian.
And today we got a special video for you. It is our yearly look forward at the year coming up. This time we're looking ahead at 2023 and looking forward to our top 20 movies coming out next year. But before we get into the top 20, we got a couple of honorable mentions that we should highlight real quick. Things that didn't quite make it onto our list, but we are in some way excited for. Really quickly, that is going to be Scream 6, The Marvels, Saw 10, 65, and The Flash. So those are something we are looking forward to, but they did not make it onto the list. So, in other words, let's go ahead and we'll dive right in here with our top 20. It looks like I'm up first because we're going to be alternating here. The first movie we want to highlight coming out this year is coming out in February, I believe, and that is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which, according to the directors, is a Avengers-level film, which is very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited that they do say Avengers level. I feel like a lot of Marvel movies have toted that in the recent past, and they haven't turned out to be anything similar, which is okay. But I am a little apprehensive on the scale of it, but the trailer does look amazing, and I'm very, very excited for it.
I'm very excited to see whoever Bill Murray ends up being, because
yes,
it just is a weird inclusion, but I'm all here for it. And we all know Jonathan Majors is a fantastic actor, playing the one He Who Remains in Loki.
Yeah.
And then the little bits we get of him in the trailer, he's already looking like he's going to be just as good as Thanos of a villain. So we'll have to wait and see.
We'll see. Yeah.
But very excited for that. Adrian, what's up next on our list here?
Yeah, next up is Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Typically, a Transformers movie would never make it onto this list. However, the trailer does show a return to that old school Hasbro form. And I'm thinking we're going to get much more of a Bumblebee type movie with this one, which Bumblebee was actually pretty good. And I feel like we're focusing more on the robots instead of the human story of Mark Wahlberg and his daughter. Which I think is fantastic. So I'm really excited for it. Big turn of events here for this one to be on my list.
Yeah, this was not on my original list. We both came into this with 20 movies and then kind of whittled out the ones we weren't as excited for. And I was not excited after the trailer at all. I thought the trailer looked horrible.
Really?
I mean, the style was one thing. I like the original Optimus Prime look.
Yeah.
You know, and I heard Bumblebee was good. I haven't seen it. But, like, the visual effects didn't look that good in the trailer. Maybe because they're still working on them. That's always a
well, you got to remember,
case.
just like with She-Hulk, right? We're watching it compressed down on a YouTube video.
True.
As opposed to full stream capabilities.
That is very true. But I've been so burned by Transformers that it's kind of hard for me to get excited.
Me too. That's why this trailer actually kind of gave me some hope, and the trailer had a good song, and it looked good. Could be a flop. We don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Next up, a movie that we are both very, very excited for, and it was delayed from this year into next year, and that is John Wick Chapter 4, which that trailer that came out was mind-blowing.
Excellent music in it was sold it for me.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see Keanu Reeves versus Donnie Yen. That is going to be an incredible fight. And then it's more John Wick. I'm never going to say, don't give me John Wick.
Yeah, it's amazing that he went from The Matrix and then developed another series of films that people are just equally as stoked about. Like, I think
if not more so, I think.
Yeah, I think the John Wick series has definitely become a staple in current film zeitgeist, and it's definitely sought after the next one. So I'm stoked. I love that we're getting another one.
Yeah,
a little bummed that the third one was called Parabellum for some reason, and now all the others are just the numbers. So when they're on the shelf when you buy the sets, it's gonna be real bad for OCD. Like, there's gonna be one that doesn't have a number in it, so that's gonna be a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, I think they were trying to go with, like, because Parabellum means prepare for war or something like that, and then hopefully this means there's actual war. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see.
Next up, again, a movie that we're both super excited for. Excellent trailer, excellent music is Guardians of the Galaxy 3, a movie that I believe was also delayed until next year.
It may have been, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Because of the pandemic, for sure.
But this is looking like a fantastic, I assume, send-off from what the trailers are saying for a lot of characters. And it looks really emotional. I'm super excited. I've loved the Guardians of the Galaxy so far. So looks like it's going to be good.
Yeah, and after the hysterical holiday special, we've heard that this is going to be a real gut punch. Because they filmed the holiday special and Volume 3 at the same time, and they said that it was like night and day, because they would go from the more depressing nature of Guardians 3 to the holiday special.
Well, I mean, yeah, in the trailer, there's definitely Quinn standing over somebody's dead body, screaming and crying, and there's tears everywhere and all this stuff. So I'm excited. I love when movies make the commitment and kill off characters. I think it really shows stakes, and it sets the precedent for future movies that you don't know who's going to live and die, and I think that makes it more fun.
That's exactly it. Looking forward to that very much so. Next up, a movie that we are both very excited for, just based on how we met, actually. But that is going to be Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. That was a great first trailer. I don't care what anyone says. I thought it was fun, and it exhibited pure D&D energy, especially with how we play.
I think that's what people forget, and I think a lot of the people that critiqued it aren't players of the game. Dungeons and Dragons is crazy. Like, the stuff that you're saying, like, oh, the trailer seemed over the top, or it seemed like really cheesy. That's what it's like to play. Like, people do stuff like that's in the trailer. So I actually think it was a pretty strong trailer. I don't think it was I don't think it was top tier trailer or anything, but I do think it teased enough that I am excited to go see it, and I will be seeing it. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be good.
I think, and I call it right now, and I will eat something. I'll eat my words if I'm wrong. I feel like it's gonna get a low critic score when it comes out, and I think it's gonna get like a 50% audience score, because I think the people who are really gonna enjoy this are D&D players who understand that that is what it is, and the people who won't enjoy it are the people who don't play D&D.
Exactly, and they're thinking it's supposed to be more like a video game or something. Like,
or
I've
like
had friends,
Lord of the Rings.
I've had friends that when I talk about playing D&D, that they still inquire like how it works. Like, they don't quite understand that it's all in your mind. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't quite. So like, if you don't understand that concept, I have a feeling the movie's not going to feel right to you. Like, something's going to feel off about what's going on, and that's because it's, which I really like. It's meant for people of a niche market. Like, it's meant for people, well, not niche, it's one of the most played games in the world, but it's meant for people that play the game. It's not meant to be for everybody, and I really respect that.
And it's coming out at a very advantageous time for the game too. I mean, more people are playing it than ever, so I mean, it makes sense. But Adrian, there's a big movie here that we're both looking forward to, because we're super fans.
And we just got the trailer for it really recently, which looked incredible. This is Oppenheimer, the next Nolan film, Christopher Nolan. You could drip feed me Christopher Nolan in the hospital, and I'd probably be satisfied for the rest of my life. This movie looks incredible. The main actor, who's shockingly forgetting his name right now.
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian. And I believe he actually calls himself Killian. I think he calls himself Killian in one of the
Sorry, I'm forgetting that wrong at all.
Yeah. Sorry if you're listening to this, Killian.
Someone's going to be like, no, it's Ilian. And it's like, okay.
But he looks like the physical transformation he's undergone to have this like gaunt face is incredible.
He looks just like Oppenheimer.
And the thing that I'm most excited for is Christopher Nolan said that they have created the first atomic bomb without CGI in this movie. So I'm assuming they blew up something and we just don't know about it.
They actually blew up a Manhattan Project bomb.
Yeah, so I'm just super stoked. I think it looks really good. The trailer looks incredible. If you haven't seen it, definitely go ahead and watch it. It will interest you, I promise.
The cast as well is huge in this movie. Like,
giant.
Emily Blunt, Cillian Murphy, as we said. Robert Downey Jr. is in this movie. Josh Peck making his triumphant return to the big screen. There's
in jokes a Christopher
aside,
Nolan movie.
Jokes aside, like, it looks fantastic. I am so.
And we also have to remember he took a chance on Harry Styles, and everyone thought that was going to be really bad in Dunkirk, and it was pretty good.
And he was great.
Yeah, it was great. So I think Christopher Nolan's becoming a person that just, if you get signed on to his movie, you got something. Whatever that it factor is, you've got it, because he won't pick you unless he feels you can carry the movie.
For sure. I mean, even if you're a side character. I mean,
yeah.
And we're not even scratching the surface of the cast. There's like at least 20 people in this movie that are all big names. So it's...
Yeah, Josh Peck was just the one when the trailer was going that everyone in the theater was like, what?
Like, he be truthin'. All right, so after Oppenheimer, this is one that I'm not as much excited to see the actual movie. I'm excited to see the response to it. And that is the Super Mario Brothers movie, which that first trailer came out, and it was very promising. the voice cast sounded great, except for Chris Pratt. And everyone was like, this might actually have some promise. And then I believe we got a second trailer from the Game Awards, or we got another, like some clip of footage or something. And Chris Pratt sounded a little bit better. I mean, obviously we're not going to get most of, his performance in a trailer, but, I think we have yet to see how this movie's going to pan out. It could either be a huge hit or a huge flop.
Yeah, and hear me out. I just saw a trailer recently for Glass Onion that did, after I saw the movie, I realized that the trailer showed something that was different from what was in the movie. So I know that that's happened for Marvel, so hear me out. They're not using Chris Pratt's Mario voice in the trailers to make people mad so that they go see it, or that it just gets the buzz, and then when the movie actually releases, because he's been quoted saying, I spent time with voice coaches to get the voice right. And the trailer's just Chris Pratt. There is no... So I think that maybe there's some secret voice that they're hiding from us. But regardless, Jack Black seems like he's going to be the highlight of this movie, in being Bowser. His performance in the trailer is already incredible, and I can't imagine anybody better for that role.
And honestly, Charlie Day is a great pick for Luigi.
Totally.
It just totally fits. And Anya Taylor-Joy, I mean, I think she always brings something to the movie she's in.
Yeah.
So, but let's go ahead and move right along. Adrian, what's next?
Next is a bit of maybe a controversial take. I just love movies that bring everybody together for the holidays, and that everyone just has a good time. So, Expendables 4. Yes, we are getting a fourth movie. I can't even imagine the cast because they get bigger every year. I imagine the credits is just going to be every superstar ever. I'm hoping they get Tom Cruise for it. I feel like that would be crazy. I just think that they're super fun. They get all the biggest action stars ever that are still alive and put them in one movie, and it gets really overwhelming and really cheesy, and just super fun. So I think it's one that I definitely would see. I don't think it's going to be good by any means, but I think it's going to be a really fun time.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if it turns out to be a fun time, because 3 was not very good. 1 and 2 had their charm, but
yeah,
3 was not very entertaining. And we never got the Expendables, which is kind of annoying. Hopefully we get Sigourney Weaver in this one. I think that would be a fantastic addition to the
I feel like, this would be the time to mix it up and change the formula a bit to make it interesting.
Sigourney Weaver, Keanu Reeves, get them in there,
Yeah, same category.
Yeah. both dangerous female actors, Alrighty, next up, quite a big one, a sequel, because there's a lot of sequels on this list, to one of the best pieces of Western animation of all time. We're finally getting Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 next year, which I don't know if they dropped the Part 1 or if they're making it one movie. I think last time they announced it was going to be in 2 parts, but I mean, come on. Into the Spider-Verse is one of the best animated movies in quite some time. Both from its technical merits, but also just its storytelling and its acting. It's very, very good. And this looks like it's going to be more of the same. I don't know if we're going to start seeing the multiverse get worn out, because of how many multiverse movies we're getting now. But it still looks incredible. So, the newest trailer was very good.
Yeah, and I am a bit bummed if it is the Part 1. I feel like we're getting a lot of these parts, and I just feel like they can be separate movies. I get that we're trying to build stories that are super long and stuff, but I am getting a little burned out on the Part 1s and 2s. I just want a cohesive movie in one. That'll come up a little bit later on the list. But I hope it's one movie. If it's 2 parts, that's still fine. I'm sure it's going to be great. I am very excited, but I hope it's one movie.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I understand making it 2 parts. Like Endgame and Infinity War made sense because it was way too much for one movie. But there's 2 other movies coming up on this list that I don't think need to be in 2 parts. But this one, we'll see. I don't know.
But also, with Endgame and Infinity War, they weren't called Part 1 and Part 2.
True. That is very true.
They were their own movies. They just happened to be a Part 1 and Part 2. And I feel like I'm getting really tired of movies saying, oh, this is the same titled movie twice. We're just making it so big. And I feel like you could call this one, right, if it is Part 1, Across the Spider-Verse, and then you could call the second one something else, and yeah, it's a Part 2, but it's just a different movie, and that's okay. So I'm getting a little tired of the titling here.
Or just keep me in the theater for 4 hours. I'll do it. If it's a good movie, keep me there.
Yeah.
So, But
Speaking
moving
of,
on.
speaking of,
This one's a little different.
this one is absolutely deservedly of a part 2 just because the vision is so large. Dune Part 2 got greenlit 24 hours after the first one came out, and super excited for this one to come out. I know it focuses more on an alternate character and less on Timothée Chalamet's character. If you haven't seen the first one, that's me not spoiling anything for you because you should absolutely go see it. And if a theater still happens to be showing it anywhere on a random night, see it in the biggest screen possible. It's still going to be good regardless, but the bigger you can see it, the better quality. It's a spectacle for sure. And part 2 comes out next year, and I could not wait for it more. I know it's 2 parts, then that's it, I believe. I think that's like the end, so I'm really excited for the box set and just to have that whole movie in my hands. And I can't wait.
Well, I know there's more stories to tell, and I think Denis Villeneuve has said he wants to tell all of them. But I don't know.
But I think it's 2 parts for this book. Like Dune, it's 2 parts, and then there's more. Dune, the saga is 6 books total, I believe, 3 original, and then
12 movies. Let's go.
3 written by the guy's son. So I think he might tell more. But I know that this is like the book Dune, the original one. This is
exactly. So hopefully it comes out, and hopefully it's as good as the first one. Which it's Denis Villeneuve, so I have all the faith in him.
Yeah.
Next up, talk about a movie that I have faith in. That is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. After that trailer came out, dude, I got so pumped for this movie. I am so ready for it.
Yeah, I'm 100% excited. I felt the CGI, kind of like what you were saying in the other one, looks a little wonky at times.
On what part?
The younger Harrison Ford.
I thought that looked flawless.
Really? Maybe it was just the way I was watching. Maybe I watched it like on my phone and it just looked weird, or I need to watch it on
Maybe. The part when he's like unmasked, sitting in the chair, looked just like he did in Last Crusade.
Maybe I'm just having the uncanny valley where I know he's older, so I'm like looking for it.
Maybe.
But that's how I felt about it. But I am excited for the plot. I think I've been on record on this podcast. I liked the 4th Indiana Jones more than some of the others. So I think this one's going to be right up my alley. And I'm very, very excited for it.
Super excited. I mean, it's John Williams' last movie, which is really heartbreaking. But I know he's going to go out with a bang and give us something that's truly fantastic. And it's the director of Ford versus Ferrari and Logan, who knows what he's doing. James Mangold is a very good director, so I'm very hopeful for this movie. And it sounds like they just greenlit an Indiana Jones series on Disney Plus. So I'm interested to see what that means, because I don't know how they're gonna do it.
Man, they really felt the need to compete with the National Treasure series.
It's their own network. Oh man, but yeah, Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. Very much looking forward to that. Great name too. That sounds just like any kind of pulp adventure thing. It almost reminds me of some of the Indiana Jones games, like name titles. So I'm super stoked.
It's funny when I first heard it, my immediate thought was like, "Oh, that's a cheesy title." But then I remember all the Indiana Jones titles, and they're all that same kind of
The Temple of Doom, The Last Crusade, The Dial
Skull
of Destiny.
To be honest, if I were to relate it, they feel like D&D adventures. Like they feel like titles of things that you would go on. So
it sounds exactly like.
I think it's perfect. Yeah, I think it sounds great.
Now we got a couple of smaller movies.
Couple of kind of smaller. Definitely less of a blockbuster, but we do have Inside coming out. The new William Dafoe. It looks like a solo piece, from what I can tell from the trailer. Like just a one-on-one him the whole movie. And I'm excited with his performance in The Lighthouse and his recent performance in No Way Home. I feel like he's still got that acting chops that we just love from him so much. I don't think that's gone anywhere, and I cannot wait to see him carry an entire film. And I cannot be more excited.
Willem Dafoe is one of the best actors working in the industry, and I'm super excited for him to have a solo piece about looks like an art thief trapped inside someone's very expensive home. Yeah. It looks like there could be a twist. We've gotten movies with twists in them this year, that were a delight for some people. So hopefully, maybe it's got a twist in it. We don't know. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be very good.
It looks very, very entertaining.
Yeah. So next up is a movie that I was very excited for, and then this director had a movie that came out this year that was kind of a disappointment. But I'm still excited for this movie, and that is The Exorcist. David Gordon Green, who directed the latest Halloween trilogy, is directing this reboot of The Exorcist, which apparently is getting its own trilogy as well. And recently had the pleasure of rewatching The Exorcist again this year, and it is one of the best horror movies of all time. And I'm very interested to see what David Gordon Green can do with the supernatural element, because we kind of got the more social, kind of serial killer element with Halloween. This is much more of the supernatural, so I'm very excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, I have the same gripe with what's going on with this movie as I do with the part 1 and part 2s. I'm not a fan of someone approaching the studio and going, hey, I want to remake The Exorcist, and the studio going, let's buy 3 of them. Like, I just don't get why we need... I know there's multiple Exorcist originally, but like, why don't we just start with the one, say it's good? Like, why are we announcing that there's so many right away? Like, I just don't really like that concept that's been going on.
To be fair, though, I think it's planned. It's not necessarily greenlit, so I think it might depend on how well the first one does.
So I guess then maybe I'm just not a fan of people announcing it. So like, sure. I feel like let's just have the movie. You don't need to tell us. Actually, have the same problem as great as I think Avatar 2 is. I don't need to know that we've greenlit 5. Like, you can just release one every other year, and I'd be psyched to get another one. Like, I think that's part of the movie magic, is going to the theater and seeing a trailer for something you didn't know was coming out. Like, I will never forget the first time I ever saw the trailer for Cloverfield in a theater. I thought we were dying because, like, it was the found footage, one of the first of its kind. And I feel like when you tell me I'm getting 3 Exorcist movies, it kind of takes away the hype of seeing that trailer for the first time, and that kind of your imagination running wild with what it could possibly be about. All that said, rant over, soapbox stepping down. I am very excited for it. The first one's obviously incredible, and I think that this one is going to be really, really good as well. I have my highest hopes for it. Been let down a lot in recent history with horror movies, but I have hopes that this one can save it.
Yeah, and Ellen Burstyn is returning. She was the one that played the mother in the original. So, but Adrian, speaking of horror movies
that have let us down, I'm very excited for Knock at the Cabin, which is M. Night Shyamalan's newest and brightest and greatest film to come out. Hit or miss with M. Night Shyamalan. I'm excited because I'm definitely going to go see it. Tempered expectations because I'm either going to be super disappointed or super stoked. It's literally 50-50 with him. The goods are great and the bads are terrible. And I have high hopes for this horror movie. I think it's kind of a return to, at least what it appears, classic M. Night Shyamalan horror, as opposed to these like kind of wild, thought-provoking movies that he's been doing recently. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for this one because it seems different than anything he's done yet. It has more of like a, it seems like a religious bent to it, which I'm not too excited about the thought of a gay couple being taken hostage by religious fanatics. That seems a little too close to reality.
I thought you were just going to stop your sentence in the beginning, and I was going to say, whoa, you can't say that.
You asshole. That's just kind of uncomfortable for me, but I'm glad to see that they are having a couple like that as a center point for the film. Especially, I forget the actor's name, but he played, not Olaf in Frozen, but the one of the dads is the same guy from Mindhunter. And he was in Hamilton. I forget his name, but he's a very good actor, very underutilized, and I'm glad he's getting a more tentpole role. And then, come on, Dave Bautista is also in this movie, and freaking Ron Weasley is there. Yeah. Come on.
And I will tell you, Dave Bautista specifically has really shown acting chops beyond Drax. I know that was kind of like his boxed-in film when he first came out in Guardians, but with especially Glass Onion, it really showed that he can carry some different weight. He still definitely comes across as kind of one of, like, he's Dave Bautista. That's who I see when I watch the movie. But it's good, and I like it, and I'm not complaining.
He definitely doesn't fall into the same trap that Dwayne Johnson falls into, for me. I think he definitely embodies characters more. The one character for certain that he kind of disappeared into was his character in Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Did not realize it was him, obviously, until you see the shape of his head. But like, also Glass Onion, he was very good and very different from his usual roles. He is I take everything back. He is the best actor to come out of the WWE, hands down.
Yeah, I'd actually agree. I think Best Actor, not as successful. So depends on what you're measuring it by.
For sure.
But best actual acting chops to come out of the WWE for sure.
And I would say John Cena right below him. Then Dwayne Johnson has lost grace substantially with me this year. But we'll get to that when we go to the Drive Back Awards.
Yeah, I think if you look at our actual most anticipated last year, I think there was Dwayne Johnson movies that we were like, best actor in the WWE, and now we've switched.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat some words.
Hey, that's how it goes. Opinions can change.
But switching on that, bringing back Timothée Chalamet, because Dave Bautista was also in Dune 2, we have Wonka, which is an interesting movie, apparently about the younger version of the character of Willy Wonka. And from all intents and purposes, I've seen some reports from the set that Timothée Chalamet is magical in this movie, and he is embodying Willy Wonka in a way that we have never seen before, and it made me very excited to see what this movie's going to be able to do.
Yeah, I actually watched a YouTube video which I highly recommend. Just look up why the career of Timothée Chalamet is unique and how he made it work. And he did it by continuously taking kind of indie projects, even when he was proposed to take large blockbuster. Dune was his first huge film, and he was still kind of an unknown name because he does a lot of indie films, and he became a very good name. But the first thing he did after doing Dune was more indie films. Like, he keeps going back to his roots and showing that he's a character actor and he can fully work a screen. And when he got Wonka, I couldn't have been more excited for him to bring that kind of character-driven performance into such a household name movie that I think is going to be really, really good. I can't imagine anybody better. He's got that Johnny Depp quality from the other Wonka, like that unique personality. I'm just very excited.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see where his career goes. I know he was offered Spider-Man, I think, or at least he was in the running for it.
Before Tom Holland?
At the same time as Tom Holland.
Yeah, at the same time. Yeah.
But I mean, I know he's done interviews where people have told him not to do superhero movies, which those people are wrong. But
see, that's his whole career. He's always maintained he doesn't want to do that. He wants to be like his own thing. He wants to be Timothée Chalamet, the character, not known for being Timothée Chalamet. He wants to be known for his work.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
It's different. That both sides have positives and negatives.
Speaking of, I don't know. There's no segue for this at all.
Speaking of Wonkas, those of you that haven't seen the first two will probably laugh that this is even on the list, but I promise you the first one is an incredible movie. Second one's very good. So Magic Mike 3, The Last Dance. Yes, the concept of the film is probably something that a lot of people giggle at or they think is kind of like taboo, but I promise you that they are excellent movies that deal with real emotions and real people, and the actual concept and like the core of the movie ends up taking a back seat when you actually realize what the movie is doing and what it's talking about. So I'm actually really excited. It seems like a really fun way to end this trilogy. Channing Tatum has been excellent in all of them so far, so I have no doubts that this one is going to be great. He's been pretty much in charge of them the whole time, so I have no hesitations that this will be good.
Yeah, I haven't seen the first two, so
That's your first mistake.
Sure. Okay. Well, that's what we'll call it.
When you get to the gates of heaven, that's the first question. Have you seen the 3 Magic Mike movies?
Oh no. Yeah. I maybe I'll have to watch the first 2 before this one comes out, and we'll report to you on the new channel name, which will be announced soon. I guess we'll do an episode about it. But transitioning into the next movie, this is a movie purely on this list, kind of like Super Mario Brothers, because I can't wait to see how angry the internet gets when this movie comes out, and that's The Little Mermaid. I need to take a soapbox moment for a moment, kind of like you did earlier. I've enjoyed pretty much all of the live-action Disney remakes, to some extent. I would say the only
Except
one...
Tarzan.
Was there there wasn't a live-action Tarzan?
That's how much you didn't like it. You forgot about it.
Oh, there you go.
They already did it.
Well, that one wasn't a Disney one, though, but...
It wasn't?
No, the one with Alexander Skarsgård.
Wow, well, there you go.
Yeah, it was Warner Brothers. Anyhow, but I think this one, I'm intrigued to see how it's going to go. Again, I'm mostly excited to see how the internet's going to get angry and how they're going to racially attack some 16-year-old black girl on the internet because she's playing a fictional creature that is not white or black or anything set in stone. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah,
as long
it
as
really boils down to if you are upset, that's just racism.
That's all that it is.
Yeah.
But it was written by a guy in Europe. Doesn't matter if mermaids are not real. It doesn't matter. It's like the dwarves in the Rings of Power. It doesn't matter what color their skin is. If it's the right actor, it's the right actor.
Yeah, they're not real people.
But they're real to me. It's like, no, I'm sorry. Anyhow, yeah, this movie, hopefully it's good. It's got a good cast to it. And I think that updating the music can be a good idea sometimes. I don't know if it necessarily requires a movie, but I'm interested to see how it's going to look in live action.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I know I'm a little nervous for it because I know that they have not incorporated the same underwater technologies that Avatar 2 did. So I'm very interested to see. I feel like this will be the real tell of how good the visuals in Avatar 2 were based off of how, because this is like normal cost CGI. So that I think this will be a really good tell of the benchmark of how good we really have it in other films.
To be fair, I don't know who's directing Little Mermaid, but
James Cameron.
If only. But James Cameron directed Avatar 2, and the man dives to the ocean trench because he wants to. That man understands how water works. So it's not going to be anything near
Nobody
Avatar 2.
Nobody else understands how water works except James Cameron.
He's not even a scientist and has a better understanding of the ocean than anyone else.
Yeah.
But last three here.
Speaking of people that do their craft to the absolute fullest and say why not almost every day, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, which I believe is the 7th movie. Could not be more excited. I'm a huge Mission Impossible fan. I think Tom Cruise is one of the last true action stars that lives, breathes, and dies by his craft. I think he's a stuntman that also has the acting chops to carry a movie. And I already know that this movie, you can watch the YouTube video, he's done one of the most incredible and impossible stunts in cinematic history. And he did it like 6 times in one day for them to capture the shot. And I love that it's real. I love that in an age of CGI like Avatar, where everything is not real, he keeps all the stunts as real as possible. And I really respect that.
Yeah, that stunt video was really cool. And it was really exciting to see what they're going to be able to do that. I know they're going to space in the next one, so that's probably going to get its own video too. But god damn, that trailer was terrible.
The trailer was pretty rough. It seems like they had a lot of random shots and kind of
random shots, no audio except for music. It just was not good at all. And I to be honest, I have only seen Ghost Protocol out of all the movies. Still, we are planning on doing this for a...
Sorry, Tim Allen's here. Yes.
We were planning on doing a Mission Impossible franchise fever on the old podcast, but I never got to it.
Have you seen the TV show?
No.
Oh my gosh.
So, I'm not very excited for this movie. I kind of have the same opinion of it as I do with the Fast and Furious movies, which we'll get there. Which is that, not that they're bad movies, but that the entire purpose is just to one-up the last one.
Yeah, but the thing about Mission Impossible is that it's real. So,
well, sure, but I don't know. Like, yes, it's cool to see Tom Cruise flying off a cliff on a bike, but it's so much more. Like, you could do things that are much more terrifying or much more death-defying that aren't as bombastically over the top. Have him rock climbing on a face without a rope. And then he falls or something. I mean, close up. Not you see all the detail. Okay, sure. Fine. But
they did that in the second movie. He free climbed a cliff.
I'm behind in my movies, apparently. I don't know. It's just it just feels like they approach the movie going okay, what's the big stunt gonna be? And then they write a movie after. That from the outside, that's how it looks.
Okay, I would suggest you watch them. Yeah, I would suggest you watch them.
To be fair, honestly and truthfully, I have not seen them, so I am kind of speaking out my ass right now.
I would recommend you see them. I will say space them out. I tried to show Cassidy all of them kind of back to back. We did a binge, And if you watch them all in quick succession, they do all kind of become a blur because they are such all just major action films. I would say just space them out, like watch the first one, wait a bit, then watch the second one. Like take your time with them, or else they will all start to feel the same. But I feel like they're all very different because I've seen them a bunch of times.
Sure. I mean, to be fair, Fallout, the Mission Impossible Fallout did give us one of the best cinematic moments ever, and that was the shotgun reloading of Henry Cavill's biceps.
Iconic.
Which I was watching an interview with him recently, and he was saying that he put that in there because he thought it'd be cool, or he did that anyway to like flex his muscles, and then he did a take without it, and the director was like, "Why did you not do the arm thing?"
Yeah, like he was just trying something out, and they're like, "Big muscle guy, do the arm thing now."
Oh, jeez. Anyhow, so next up on the list here is a movie that had a really good trailer. That I wasn't expecting, and I'm interested to see how this movie goes, and that is Barbie. Now,
Trailer was funny.
Now, there is no way in hell that this movie would ever really be on my list, but it has a couple of things going for it. Number one, it has Margot Robbie in it. It also has Ryan Gosling as Ken, and it also has Simu Liu in it, which I'm interested to see more Simu Liu. He was very good in Shang-Chi. But it's directed by Greta Gerwig, who is one of the, especially for, I'm assuming she's a younger director, but like she's done a lot of very good movies in a very short time span, and the fact that she's taking on a big IP like this means that hopefully we're going to get that indie film touch to a blockbuster movie. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. That trailer was hysterical. The 2001: A Space Odyssey parody in the beginning was great.
Yeah, it was immediately recognizable. Like, at first I was like, oh, that's like the opening shot of that. And then they did it was like more shots that were all the same. I was like, what the heck? Yeah, it looks super fun. I don't imagine it's going to be, I don't want to say like it's not going to be very good, but I don't imagine it's going to be like crazy good or anything.
No, yeah.
I feel like it's just going to be a fun time at the theater where hopefully it's got a lot of laughs and a lot of fun moments and a lot of nostalgia for people that were fans of the IP when it was at its peak. I don't know how big it is now. I just know that it is a big IP. So yeah, I'm excited.
That is, yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, there is a lot of good things going for it, so I think that's what's going to be really exciting. But Adrian, let's wrap this up.
Speaking of a lot of good things going for it, this movie does not have those. This movie is a franchise that if you had talked to me 3 years ago, I would have told you it was my favorite movie series, and while they are still fun, it has definitely had a fall from grace, with the 9th one up through 8 are incredible. So this is the Fast X or 10 part 1, again, just like Mission Impossible. Doesn't need to be 2 parts, so I'm mad about that. I have a feeling this movie's gonna be really bad. I can't imagine it being good after the way that 9 went. I did not like 9. I thought they jumped the shark at every single level possible. And like it just seems way too over the top for an over the top franchise. So I think it's gonna be bad, but I can't not see it. Like I still gotta finish the saga.
Yeah, I'm not excited for this movie really, with how bad 9 was. I mean, it's got some interesting cast additions. I know I'm probably gonna go against what Adrian thinks here, but I enjoy Brie Larson quite a bit in her movies, and she's in the cast, so interesting addition. I didn't think they would have added her.
Knowing this, she's probably in it as Captain Marvel with how these movies are going.
I remember they joked about doing a Jurassic World Fast and Furious crossover, and I thought that would be one of the funniest things. If they actually jumped the shark and did that, that would be hysterical.
What I think would be even better is if in the Endgame portal scene, everything's identical in the next Avengers movie, but Dominic Toretto is also there.
Just revs the Charger.
And everyone, like, it's just like a quick 2-second shot of Dominic Toretto in the car, even in the background, and then it's like, oh, cool, okay, there he is.
Ah, there he is. It's like Howard the Duck in Endgame.
Here to save the universe.
But yeah, that movie's coming out. Sure, it might be some. It's a very big movie, and people are excited for it. So that's why I would say it's mostly on this list. Right, and Adrian, you do like the series.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that 9 was quote like the fluke of the film of the franchise, like that one was just bad, and hopefully they figured out some things. I know there's been a lot of controversy between Vin Diesel and The Rock on this one. That I know Vin Diesel's like literally publicly offered Dwayne Johnson like, I'll double your salary if you come back. So I don't know. I think they might be doing that just so that it is a shock when he is in the movie, but I know they do not get along. So I'm just interested. I'm definitely going to see it.
And there you go. Our top 20 movies that we're looking forward to in 2023. Adrian, if anyone wants to follow us anywhere online, social media, all those kind of fun things, where can they do that?
Prior to our impending name change, you can still find us at the Drive Back Podcast. You'll be met with a under construction picture there. We are currently working on rebranding. This is one of the last episodes. I think you get one more from us here over at the Drive Back, and then we will be having a whole new kind of setup going on that's going to be more relevant to day-to-day things, more timely, and just hopefully more engaging. And we're kind of picking the stuff that we've seen you guys really attach to while watching this podcast and show, and applying it to make it more of what you get all the time from us. So kind of just flipping it on its head. But right now, like I said, the Drive Back Podcast, if you're watching this right now, you're here on YouTube, subscribe. This channel will be the one that gets transferred to the new one. So all of our old episodes will still be here. And you'll also be able to get all of our new content starting in the new year. Undisclosed time yet. We're still working out a lot of the fine details, but it is coming. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. And that way you get that first video.
Yes, and YouTube is where we only are right now. If you want to listen to some of our older episodes, you can go to anywhere where you can get your podcasts. They are still available to listen to and will remain so. So you can listen, you can go back through the catalog if you really want to hear our voices even more. But excited for the new show. We're really going to be able to expand on the different things that Adrian and I want to do. We get to talk film, talk stuff that's coming out, Adrian just gets to talk about movies and gets to watch them. I get to analyze them a little bit more, which is kind of like what we both like to do. So very excited for that, so be on the lookout. But we do have our awards show coming up. By the time this is posted, it should be around the corner pretty soon. Don't know when this is going up. But the Drive Back Awards will be going up, where we will reveal the best, but also the most disappointing and worst of 2022.
And we also have a video in the cooker. We don't know if it's going to come out before this or after this. But it is currently edited and ready to go. We're just kind of reviewing the final touches on it. It's a big video that took a long time to make. So that's kind of one of our send-off videos as well. Not sure when it's coming out, but make sure to look for it. I'm not going to reveal the title in case it's not out yet. But
it
keep
should
your
be.
eye out for it.
If it is, it'll be edited into the video right down here.
Click.
Somewhere. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening here on YouTube. We're not on Spotify anymore. But thank you so much. We will see you next time here for the Drive Back Awards, and we will wait to have fun with you then.